All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us again as we continue the 2026 Montana Armbender Series. Joined with me tonight is Dakota Shipton versus his opponent, Bryan Johnson. This is going to be a left-handed best-of-5 match. And we got a special guest on tonight, Clifton Erickson. Say hi, everybody. And I do want to say, as always, this match is sponsored by Joe and Leah Bensky. Specifically, this one's going to be sponsored by their Triple Truck Repair Company. Joe and Leah are huge sponsors of the Montana Armbender. They might be sponsoring like half of the matches. So please, if you have any repair needs, check out their businesses, support the sponsors because they make just the most incredible matches possible. And if it wasn't for them, the armbender might not even be a thing. So this is absolutely amazing. And so before we really get into the questions back and forth, starting with you, Bryan, if you could tell everyone how long you've been pulling, where you're pulling out of, and what made you want to take this match and why you thought this match was interesting.
Right on. Yeah, back up to where you were talking about the Benskys. Leah and her husband, they let us practice a week or every practice, every like whatever, 2 months or whatever. So I can't thank them enough for that. I mean, it's so cool. I would bring in our tables and they've got a beautiful basement with a big projector TV and we just chill out. And you've been there.
Yep, absolutely.
It's
They're
great.
great people. Yeah.
Back to your original question. Bryan Johnson, I'm 50 years old, been pulling for roughly off and on for 25 years. I was really competitive about 20 years ago. Took a hiatus with a bunch of other sports. So kind of get back into it.
Yeah, no, you've been coming back into it, and you've had quite a few matches over the last couple years, and it's been great to see you back. When I first got into the sport, everyone told me that like if there was somebody that you want to stamp your name in the sport or in the state of Montana, you need to get a win on Bryan Johnson. Like that's how you know you've arrived. So from my very first day in arm wrestling, I heard about your name. You're like a legend in our state for sure.
I don't know about that, but
Absolutely, man. And Dakota, same question. I know you've answered this before, but same question over to you.
I think Bryan, what were you saying, Bryan, at the end there?
oh, I was just gonna say, my coach when I first started, DJ Pentland, he's from Deer Lodge, just 45 minutes away. He actually went over to Russia with John and several other guys from around the country and won the Golden Bear.
Golden Bear. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Ryan, I know DJ.
Clifton knows everybody, dude.
I know it. I know DJ. He's pulled here with John Gunch. My dad pulled him at the Bucks tournament. He's been all over.
Oh, he's an incredible man. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, Dakota Shipton. Anyone that doesn't know me, I've been arm wrestling. Well, so this is kind of complicated, but I tell people I've been pulling for 4 years because I've been consistently training and like really focused on arm wrestling for 4 years. But my dad pulled growing up. My dad is also 50 and he has pulled for a long time as well. And just throughout the years, I would find, tournaments where he was pulling. He pulled at the WAL 2015. I know Clifton was there. Bryan, were you at their 2015 WAL?
Where was it?
It was in Vegas.
Yes, I believe.
So there we go. All you guys were at the same tournament there. So I pulled at the qualifier for that, but I was still too young. So I was youth still then. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people in the arm wrestling scene. I'm really lucky with just how Alberta is. I get to train. And I'm really excited to pull Bryan because I know Bryan's humble about it, but I also agree that Bryan is like a legend of the sport in some senses. You can find film of him pulling from anywhere from like 20 years ago, 13 years ago to now. And I think that's super cool. I think it not only promotes the longevity of an awesome sport that we have, but I think it really shows like Bryan is a very good athlete and he keeps up with things, whether it's arm wrestling, I've seen all the training that you do. Your 500-pound deadlift to 50 is very impressive.
Yeah, it's not very specific for arm wrestling, but
Hey, here's the thing.
That's very impressive.
Athletics. It's awesome. And yeah, I mean, regarding the match, I'm very excited for it. I think that Bryan poses a lot of threats, just the way he's built. Like his hand, very big hand. I remember we gripped up when I came down with Matt. That would have been 2 years ago now. And so I remember how you felt. And so that always kind of sits in the back of my mind when I think about this match. And I'm just hoping that I've been able to improve on that and kind of see where things go. So I'm very excited. And then also for the Benskys, I really appreciate it as well. I'm obviously not as close as you guys are with them, but just to see like anytime you see armbender or anything, they're always correlated to that. And it, just it's really cool to see how much they help out for the sport and just to see their sponsorship all the time. And so thank you to them.
Absolutely. They're even sponsoring Clifton's match. So that's totally awesome. And for anyone who doesn't know who's watching this, especially if you're a newer fan of arm wrestling, Bryan is on a very, very short list that not very many arm wrestlers can claim to be on. And he has actually defeated John Brzenk. So that is a, very exclusive, very cool achievement in arm wrestling. So definitely all props due. And Clifton, I'm curious, since you're on here too, what were your initial thoughts when you first saw this match? Like, how did you, or what did you think about it?
Well, I first thought it was going to be, first of all, I thought it was going to be awesome. The first thing when Josh told me about it and then Dakota found out that was going to possibly it, first thing I told Dakota was watch out for a sticky spot, because if you get there, I am definitely one of those guys who got there and is hard as hell to get through. So I was like, I said, that's going to be it was definitely right away. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a, a technical aspect on one end and an endurance holding into a very strong lock in another. So right away, I could see it going back and forth. Like it could be anywhere. And then Bryan having a big hand. I mean, I gripped up with him right-handed. I've gripped up with him left-handed, and his hand dwarfs mine. I've gripped up with Dakota. His hand dwarfs mine. So right away, I was like, I don't know. It's going to be so good. It's like one of my most anticipated matches. Like I'm very pumped with this. This is going to be a really good match.
Yeah, I think so too. I think one of the things I told Dakota when we did your interview is that I'm really curious to see, like, when you guys are gripping up and you first have those initial pressures going, how you guys decide to respond to each other, and then where you decide to go or what you guys think are the right lanes. Because I think Bryan and Dakota, you're both kind of seen as very versatile pullers, where you're there's not really, there's lane, you guys have your preferred lanes obviously, but then you're not afraid to try something that you think might be better, and not just do the one thing. You're not just like a one trick pony, but like a lot of people are. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this match, just to see like the technical aspects and see how you guys' minds work and approach each other. And on that note, Bryan, I know you've seen Dakota at prior armbenders, but going into this, have you been kind of watching and seeing what he's up to? Are you coming in with a game plan, or where do you kind of like, what are your thoughts coming into this match, and what you're looking at in terms of a threat from Dakota?
There's always been arm TV out there and stuff when I pull in, and I mean, there's all kinds of out there on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff. I'm kind of just an instinctive puller. I've watched some of the matches, yes, of course. Really don't go in with a plan. I go by pressures and just what feels generally good and I feel confident with going into the grip. Other than that, no, I just go as is.
Awesome. And Dakota, kind of same question over to you to see, where do you see like the big threats with
Man, I see a lot of threats with Bryan. I think the hand size itself is threatening. I think like what Clifton was saying, like I know both you guys know it because you both, like, Bryan's beat everybody on the show except for me so far. So he's really just trying to claim this show as his own at this point.
yeah.
But yeah, from what I've watched, like there's a lot of different threats that are posed because, like you were saying, with the versatility, I feel like you can get maybe what you want with a puller like Bryan and you still can't pull off the win. And I find that to be super interesting just because usually everyone has their ace move, and if they can get their ace move, they're okay. But I've seen many people get their ace move with Bryan and not be okay. And so I game plan wise, again, I like to have kind of an idea of what I want to do, but with Bryan it's a little bit different just because you are going to end up somewhere and you don't really know where you're going to end up. And so, like Bryan was saying, you have to be instinctive in the moment. You're going to have to be reactive. Like, I'm going to give a pressure, Bryan's going to change. Bryan's going to give a pressure, I'm going to change. Obviously, he has a lot of years and experience on me, but I feel like I put in a lot of time and thought into these things that are hopefully going to be able to fast track me to maybe a point where, I can match some of these things. And I mean, as long as it could come down to who makes a mistake. It could come down to who gets what they want a little earlier. So be interesting.
Right. And Clifton, I was going to say too, when you see these two guys matching up, do you see one or the other having specific strength or advantage over the other, where one of them might have a clear advantage in, like center table or the ability to rise or side pressure? Is there any clear advantages you see between these two?
I mean, yeah, I don't think anything that I say is going to really give anything away because they can both see each other online and see the matches. So if you guys are fine, I can speak freely about it.
Yeah, I don't care, man. Go for it.
Yep. I do. I see a lot of, like I said, as soon as I think of endurance, especially in the northern region here, instantly I think of Bryan. So I see a lot of endurance, a lot of elbow lock. He has a lot of side pressure integrity, which I like. I'm a fan of. That's awesome. I look over at Dakota and he's got a lot of hand. He's able to move around. He's very good with not going through things to defeat them, going around things to defeat them, which is a very smart thing to do, especially when you have somebody like Bryan that will make you want to. I mean, like I said, I've been in that position to where I'm right there and I want to, it's like, okay, no, I can push through and you can't and you can't. And you just get frustrated and slowly it just starts going like this. So it's just an all around great match of will and stamina and technicalities. And honestly, I would say technicalities and angles because hand wise, I think they'll be really close hand wise. Now in the straps, I haven't really seen Bryan as much in the straps left-handed, like actually get into a war. I would give it a little bit to Dakota in the straps just because I feel like he is very technically sound in the straps and knows how to Cobra Rhodes. He knows how to use the straps rather than, force everything.
Yes.
It's going to be a very, like, everybody's got to watch this match. Like, this is my top 3 of most favorite matches to watch. I'm so excited for this one. Because, like, the thing is, too, Andrew, when you look at this, is that win or lose either of these guys, there's like 5 people that are in the group of these two that I'm like, it doesn't matter who wins and who loses. That Bryan's got to go against him. Dakota's got to go against him. Vice versa. It's like, it ends up, it's making a very good fairy tale. And it's going to be great at the end. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I have to agree with a lot of what you're saying there, and especially, I definitely see this as like a lot of people are just going to be standing up watching this. I don't know that people are going to be seated, especially after that first round, and they see
be right at the
how
ring.
it's going to go. I know. But one thing I actually, am really thought was really cool to see this last weekend with Bryan was like that your hit, like your hit was super solid and super clean. And at least in the last few people that I've seen you with, I don't know if it was like a speed thing, but it looks like you did a lot of work and you got those advantages and you were able to like just land a super powerful clean hit. And Dakota, he's been, now again, this is a left-handed match, you've really just been showing what your left hand is capable of, because a lot of people thought you were just kind of like I'm not going to say like a right hand only puller
on the left.
Yeah, more along those lines. So and just again, Bryan's left is legendary. His hit looks really clean and solid right now. So another exciting thing of this match is, again, it's kind of like if anyone watched the Clifton and Easton McCormick, it's like the old guard, the veteran, the tried and true guy, and then now like the up and coming, guy who wants to show that he has what it takes to be at that high level is coming in. And I think that this is going to be such a legitimate test for both you guys, because your left arm has had an amazing year, Dakota. And I said, Bryan, I think you've had lots of good showings and your left is just proven. Like it's had so many good performances that, man, like this is just a super great matchup. But I do want to pivot really quick because I know tonight we have a little bit of a shorter time, and I thought something that'd be kind of interesting is because everyone here has been at the Armbender multiple times, and Clifton and Bryan, your guys' match was at the first Armbender, correct?
Second.
Or second?
Yeah.
Okay. But Bryan, you did pull at the first Armbender, right?
Yeah, Dan Grosslack,
that's correct. So it's been really cool to see how the Armbender has progressed year to year to year to year. Like from the first Armbender to what it was last year, like that, like it was always like good quality and higher production value than what you would expect from what we've typically see in arm wrestling that's not East versus West or King of the Table. But just the differences between the first year and last year were so crazy, like the quality, the lighting, the sound, those animated cards. To you, Bryan, like being able to be a part of, the evolution of the armbender. I'm just curious, like what your thoughts are, and if there's anything that you would like to see change, or if there's anything that you think is just like really awesome that you think other organizations should carry into it that the armbender is doing, just along those lines.
Well, every organization should try to follow some suit of Josh's. I mean, he does a fantastic production. The only one I could ever think of that even be close to is England. When I was in Manchester for World, they had just a great introduction. But Josh does killer job. I really can't think of anything you'd want to change. Everything is so personalized. Each individual wrestler, and he makes sure everybody knows that. He's just done a phenomenal job. I don't know if that answers all your question, but
No, for sure. Like one thing that I kind of, and I want to get your opinion on it too, Bryan, because you've been around for such a long time, is I really, really, really love this concept of the challenge flags. And it's my understanding now at this point that it's only going to be for the last 2 matches. And I understand for time reasons, you might not want it for everything, but man, just part of me really wants to see it in every single match, because especially after talking to Dakota more about it, I feel like it can be used so strategically if your corner is really good and they're really paying attention. It adds like a whole nother layer of like again, strategy. So I'm just wondering what you think about the challenge flags, if you think they're like a good thing, or if you prefer kind of like the more traditional like arm wrestling style where the refs have kind of all the power. But yeah, I'd just love to hear what your thoughts are there.
and that's directed me.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, for starters, you got Keith as the head ref, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he's phenomenal. I'm old school. I mean, we've all had matches where we had questions and I didn't think we got a bad call or whatever, but shit happens. Keith's a great ref. He's going to call him as he sees him, Kelton as he thinks he sees him. So I'm old school.
Yeah, and in Dakota, if it was up to you, would you want challenge flags for the match, or would you want to kind of keep it standard
I don't know, it's
rules?
tricky. Like I've actually been in events that have used challenge flags. Like when Matt pulled Philip, there was a challenge flag that we got to use. So I've seen what it does. I think for time concerns, it can cause issues. And I can also see like my dad is very same stance as Bryan on this. It's like the ref's there, you win some, you lose some. If he misses a call, whoop-de ding dong, he's probably missed one of your calls too. But I mean, for something that adds maybe like an entertainment factor, or like something, if we're trying to go like WAL way or get things back to mainstream TV, I could see a challenge flag being fun. Is the armbender the place for it? I think these 2 pay-per-view matches at the end are going to kind of give us a proof of concept. And then knowing the kind of promoter that Josh Wilson is and the way he goes about things, I feel like depending on the feedback, he will probably implement or not implement it afterwards. But like when I think of like a league like Tough that's coming and they're trying to be televised, they're doing all these things like on a MAC table and stuff, I could see a challenge flag adding another layer of entertainment. If you're watching and you see a challenge flag thrown in any sport you're watching, NFL, NBA, whatever they're challenging, it's interesting because you're because they're to the point in those leagues where they have people who are just getting paid to sit there and watch the game. And then as soon as there's something that could be challenged, they're on the phone going challenge, challenge, challenge. You see it in the MLB all the time. World Series. Obviously, as a Canadian, I was keeping up with the Blue Jays, and a ton of challenges are thrown. So that's exciting. But I see both sides, and I'm curious to see how it goes with this armbender and then what they decide to do with it.
And Clifton, I wonder if you have mixed ideas on this, because you're going to be in so many corners that you might get a little flag overload if you were expected to call and throw out flags for 13 different matches. But
Yeah. I think I'm up there. I think I'll be up there for 8 of the matches because everybody
yeah,
wants me to come up and help. So I'll be up there pretty much the whole time. I like the concept, and this is going to sound selfish. I like the concept of the flag for the guy who's in your corner coaching and trying to help you, just because then it gives me something that I can potentially do. When it comes to an athlete, as the athlete being up there, I'm more of old school, like with Bryan. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years, so not as long as Bryan, but long enough. And it's always been, once it's called, get your shit together, switch sides, and let them rip again. But so to answer your question, for somebody on the side helping the other guy look at stuff, what to change, what to do, I think it's awesome because you add, it's like boxing. You got an ice guy, you got freaking, you got the stitch guy with the Q-tip. It's kind of cool. You get to be intertwined in the match per se. So I do like it like that. But when it comes to me being up at the table, me personally, I really could care less just because I already know if I'm going to make a mistake, it's time to fucking change it, go around and let's do it. I don't really care about the challenge.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that too. And before we finish up here, one thing that Josh definitely wanted Clifton and I to say in front of you guys is our predictions for this match. So would you like me to start, or do you want to start with this one, Clifton?
You start with it. You start.
Okay, so we kind of already went over this. Because in the last interview we were in, was just all of us talking, and we kind of got into this match a lot. But my prediction.
Wait, can I pause you?
Yes.
Before you do predictions, I just want to say thank you to Bryan for accepting the match. I'm really excited for our match, and it's going to be, it's a really good opportunity for me. And no matter the outcome, I know we're going to have like a ton of fun. And it's just going to be really awesome to pull someone like you on the arm bender. And I just wish you nothing but the best for your training and stuff up until then. I hope we have a really good match. And again, either way, I just hope that we can appease all these people that just seem to want to watch us so bad. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. Right there with you. Ditto.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, it is really actually super anticipated. Do you see the number of votes on the post that Josh put on YouTube? Pretty crazy. Yeah,
No,
it was one of the most participated in so far.
Yeah.
So, but going back to my prediction, so the prediction that I had in the last video is 55-45 in Bryan's favor. And the reason that I landed there was I think that both guys are technical, and I think both guys, have enough power to pin each other. Where I gave Bryan the advantage was I think if it stops and it goes to endurance, that just from what we've seen, that that's Bryan's wheelhouse.
My turn.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So this match is like really pretty much anything that involves Bryan. I know when I start talking, then wait a couple minutes, guys.
How about now?
Anything that involves Bryan Johnson is always like dear to my heart on it, just because that guy, I tell this to everybody. I think Bryan gets sick of hearing about it. That guy pretty much started my fire of going up the hill and becoming something good. So he kind of kicked my ass and put it in the gear and made me know that I'm not the baddest guy in the North anymore. So watching Bryan pull, knowing how he pulls and stuff like that, very strong, very endurance related. I want to say after I seen him pull at the little bender, I always watch Bryan with his sticky points. I don't know if maybe your left is a little different than your right, because I know the sticky point, Jim, with your right. I know you have some with your left. I didn't see as much sticky with the left-handed. So that kind of, to me, when I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, that kind of dubs down a little bit, because the stickiness and the endurance, that's where I'm thinking that Bryan's going to come out ahead. So I seen that a little less than what I thought it was going to be. The benefit is really good hand control. I actually thought you had better hand control than what I thought you were going to have. And that's only me going off of me going against you left-handed in tournaments and stuff. Even though you've always been able to take my hand, I've at least been able to control with like a flop pronator or something like that. So that'd be the benefits on your side. I went up and I trained with Dakota at the beginning of December, and I couldn't do nothing with Dakota left-handed. I couldn't press. I couldn't do anything. Yet again, though, Bryan, I will say, and Dakota will agree with this, Bryan, you had my left when it was actually doing really well. And with Dakota right now, it's not the same. I think everybody on this podcast would smash me left-handed, guaranteed. With that being said, and the shifting points, I think in the beginning I was the same with Andrew saying 45-55. I'm actually moving it a little closer, but I'm tipping it the other way. Just Bryan is a legend, and it's always good to see the young buck try to come up and take the king of the mountain off. You know what I mean?
Couldn't
So
agree.
I'm gonna tip it 52-48, Dakota winning.
Gosh, all right. That's exciting. It's as close as they can get.
I know.
That's a margin.
You don't understand, Dakota. This is going to be a really, really close match.
Yeah.
As soon as Josh brought it up, I was like, nope, it has to be done. I wouldn't even think twice about anything else. It has to happen. It's one of those matches that have to happen.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The only other match that I would like, sorry, Andrew.
No,
the only other
it.
match that I would like to see other than this one is you two right-handed.
That's exactly. I was just about to say that.
Where
We can make that happen too.
right.
Yeah, I was
I'm
just
sure it's
gonna
going to.
say
It's going to happen at some point.
I want to see the right hand match too. I want to see that for sure.
Both are fun. Both are fun. You know what I
Also,
mean?
too, Bryan, if Dakota does beat you, this is 2 people now in a row that I've lost to that he's won against.
Oh man, someone's
So
got to break the
also,
curse.
too, I'm like, don't lose, Bryan, please. I'll never hear the end of it.
If we follow this track, then that means Dakota's next opponent will be John Therian, and he's got to have to beat him.
My gosh. Yeah, that's a that's a tall order. I got to worry about Bryan first, and then we'll go from there. So,
no, I think it's actually really cool to hear that, you know, you made that adjustment based off the Lil Bender, and we have a little bit of a difference in opinion here, because I think a lot of people, just looking at the comments and some of the different things on YouTube and Facebook, I think a lot of people see it the same ways. They see this as super close. So as we close out here tonight, Bryan, starting with you, do you have anything you want to tell Dakota at the end? You know, how much you're going to crush him and cream him and 3-0 him or something like that?
Absolutely not. That's not my personality. Man, I hope we have a great match. Hope nobody gets hurt. I just hope we have a great match and have a great time. I don't give a shit if I win, lose, or draw.
Heck yeah, Dakota.
yeah, I'm excited. I am coming to win, Bryan. I got to stay. You got to know I'm coming to win. And I've heard great things about this endurance of yours. I do take pride in my endurance as well. And so I hope that as much as if an opportunity presents itself for me to win, I will take it. If we get to a point where it's long and drawn out and it gets ugly, I hope that people go, okay, you know, this is closer endurance-wise than what we've thought, and I hope we can have a really fun match there. And I agree, no injuries, a lot of fun. Have a beer afterwards, watch the rest of the card, and life is good.
Right on.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, well, again, you know, thank you everyone for coming on. This has been a great series. We got to know everyone a little bit more, and I think a lot of the younger guys, newer guys in the sport are going to get some exposure to a legend like Bryan, which is always great. So yeah, if you like what we're doing here, please like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys next time.